All right, Chooms, here we go. This is the first link we're going to be talking about. This is from the Cyberpunk Red subreddit from Frog Dream. First time DMing the scenario and system help. If you're brand new to a setting, because even D&D, it's a fantasy setting. Everybody's watched Lord of the Rings or something like that. You can get into that a lot easier than maybe Cyberpunk, you would think. But I think all of us have found, if you guys are fans of Cyberpunk, you guys have found that it's really easy to get into Cyberpunk. It's really, really easy because it's very similar to the lives that we're living right now. So let's talk about this first time DMing scenario. Let's read it, see what's going on. I like the Cyberpunk genre, but my only contact with the specific universe of Night City is from the Netflix anime and the games. Oh, sorry, from the Netflix anime and the games has been through the anime. Got it. So the only contact they have of the universe is from the anime, which I think is a great way to get into the game or get into the universe, because they did a really good job capturing what Night City is about, and not just what Night City is about, but what it's like playing a game of Cyberpunk Red. All the characters and all the things that they go through, that's like shit that you do when you're playing Cyberpunk Red. You are those characters. You're David Martinez. So I think that as far as that goes, like, it might be the best way to get into Cyberpunk is the anime. Anyway, I've been a DM for D&D and Vampire for quite some time. I already know that this person's gonna do just fine, but this will be my first time running Cyberpunk Red. I have some friends that love the genre and scenario. So like, I already know that this person is too far into their own head. I would tell this person like, hey, you have nothing to worry about. If you've played D&D and Vampire, you're fine. Vampire has a lot of social encounters, which is big in Cyberpunk. So I would say that this person's going to do great. All right, well, they ask if you could help me, I would greatly appreciate it. What are the main topics I should know about the setting? For example, I know there are wars, but is it important to know them internally, or is it not very relevant to the story? It's good to know about them just because you know how the universe operates. Whenever you learn about the corporate wars, you realize like, oh shit, like corporations can go to war with each other and like destroy the world, and it becomes like a catastrophic event. That's crazy. You know what I mean? That's something that really wraps your head around the universe. So just knowing that that happened is good enough. I don't think you need to know like crazy details, but it's those little things like everybody has cyberware. Almost everybody has cyberware. So that tells you this is a futuristic world where everybody has cyberware is prevalent. That's another thing you could bank in your mind. You talk about nightclubs, you talk about gangs, and then you kind of paint a picture. You're telling people it's the world that you're used to, but there's a little bit of a caveat. You know, people have cyberware, corporations are more in control, there's more corruption, and it's more grimdark. It's basically what we're used to, but more grimdark. What we're used to in real life is what I mean. Typically, your group is a group of edge runners doing jobs for a fixer or a gang or a corporate. You and your buddies are going on missions and you're making a name for yourself. You don't care who the police chief is. You don't care, you know, that Johnny Silverhand blew up Arasaka Tower however many years ago, unless that becomes a vital part of your campaign. Unless it pertains to you, you mind your own business. That's how it is in Cyberpunk. You know what I mean? You don't want to cause problems with people on the streets because you don't know who's who. You don't know anything about anybody. You don't know if somebody's like an edge from cyber psychosis and is about to kill everyone, and C-SWAT and MaxTac have to come and take them down. You don't know if that's going to happen. So everybody minds their P's and Q's. They mind their business. They go on with their life because meddling is dangerous. So who cares who the president is? Who cares who the governor of Night City is? Who cares what happened 20 years ago? I got a job to do today that could kill me. I wouldn't worry too much about the setting. All that stuff is just flavor for the game master and for the players to immerse themselves in the world. All right, is there anything I should know about the system, or perhaps something that could improve our experience? For example, I love the examples. In D&D, it's almost consensus in the community that certain spells can break certain types of gameplay. I think what they're asking is, you know, what do I do with power gamers? That's basically what they're asking. Because not everybody goes for the most powerful spells and the most game-breaking things. some people, they just want to tell a story. Like when they craft their Cyberpunk character, they're like, I want a guy that's like a pistol arrow, you know, gunslinger. He uses pistols and he dresses like a corporate, and he has friends in the mafia. There is going to be power gamers. They are, you know, they are prevalent, I think, in Cyberpunk, because there's a lot of ways where you can get there. But also, I feel like, you know, people, are you a power gamer because you want to use an assault rifle? Some people would say yes. I would say no. It's an available item for you. It's a powerful weapon. As someone who fights to survive in this world, why wouldn't you use the most powerful weapons? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you use the best things that you can to protect yourself? That's just common logic. It has nothing to do with power gaming. That's just your character wanting to, you know, survive. So I understand why all my players want to have assault rifles and heavy pistols, because everybody that they come up against has cyberware and flak jackets and crazy shit. You know what I mean? So I get it, just on that logic alone. But there is such a thing as, you know, getting a linear frame and juicing yourself up with all of that, having like one humanity, and like skirting the edge of cyber psychosis, so your character is so powerful. There's always ways around that as a game master, and I guess if that's what this person is asking, like, how do I get around a power gamer? You got to remember, no matter how powerful your character is, if they're outnumbered 10-1, maybe even 5-1, the action economy is going to kill them. It's going to kill them. It doesn't matter how powerful their character is. If 10 police officers with assault rifles, because, you know, they have it in their trunk, because they have to deal with cyber cycles all the time, or crazy people all the time. So beat cops pop their trunk, and there's grenade launchers, there's, you know, there's a one-time use rocket launcher, there's an assault rifle. They all get their goodies out. They call C-SWAT. In a matter of 2 turns, if these 10 beat cops don't kill your character, then C-SWAT's going to kill your character. So there's always consequences. It doesn't matter how powerful a character can be. The game master always has that ability. And by the way, it's not like you're making something like crazy outlandish. If you have a character in your group that's just killing civilians, killing innocent people, causing, you know, a ruckus in the middle of a promenade where there's a bunch of people shopping, or a corporate zone, it's not going to end good. It's not going to end good. And as a game master, you might ruin the immersion of the other players if you just let it go. You know, if you let it go, they'll be like, really? You let it go? You know what I mean? After all that they did, nothing, no consequences. That would take me out of the immersion, and maybe your other players would feel the same way. So you kind of have a responsibility to be like, dude, the cops are coming. They're here. They're going to get 10 shots on you. You know, I don't know where you're going to be in the initiative. Hopefully you're number 1, so you can start running away. But letting you know that this is what's happened. There's also the other way to get around a power gamer, which is, you know, put them in a social situation. There's going to be times, because there's 20 guys with assault rifles in the nightclub looking down on your players because you're having a meeting with their boss. You can't just start a fight there, dude. You're all dead. Not just you. Everybody else is dead. You'll kill everyone. Your other buddies will die too. So you're forced to have a conversation. And either you tell your buddy that has the social skills to do it, or, you know, as a game master, you could be like, oh no, they want to talk to you, dude. They don't want to talk to your buddy. They want to talk to you because you look like the badass. And then the badass is all of a sudden like, oh, I don't have any like human perception or anything. And it's like, yeah, dude, I know. So let's see what happens. All right. So last question is there any general information you consider essential to know about the setting, the cyberpunk theme, or anything else you think is important to know for DMing? So I think essentials is like the nightclub. Nightclub is the tavern of cyberpunk. That's a place where your players will go, get into fights, make deals, whatever. Understand that fixers exist. They're the people that you find if you want to find things. They talk to other people. And if you don't have a fixer in your party, then you want to know a fixer. Your characters want to know a fixer. There's gangs, there's corporate zones, corporates, and, you know, there's like basically a caste system in cyberpunk. It's like either you're a corporate, which means you signed on the dotted line and signed your soul away to a corporation for the chance to have protection in a place where, you know, generally there isn't really protection except in a corporate zone. So there's that part of society. Then there's everybody else. There's everybody else all the way down to the people literally dying in the gutter of starvation, of being stabbed by another guy that was also starving. Like, that's the lowest of the low. You know what I mean? So that's everybody else. And you basically tell your players, you are in the everybody else category, but sometimes you mingle in the upper category, and sometimes you do things to make sure you're not the guy dying in the gutter. And that's basically what I would be telling my players. Anytime I have a party, I don't always assume, like, you know, in D&D a lot of times it's like you're all mercenaries, you know what I mean? Even in Cyberpunk, you're all mercenaries. But I generally like to do the idea that you guys are like co-workers. You've worked with each other on separate jobs in the past. Maybe not all of you have been in the same room together at once, but you've worked with like two of the guys that you see there, and you generally know that you guys can trust each other in a fight. You know what I mean? You got your head screwed on straight and things went okay. So you're like, hey, why not? I'll work with these people again. You're not like a team unless you want to be a team. You know what I mean? But not everybody has to be a team. You could just be people that generally contract together. You're contractors. And sometimes the fixer will just hire two of the players. I do this all the time where I go like, you two know the fixer, you other three don't know the fixer, but you know the two that know the fixer. And that way it's a little bit more realistic. The fixer's like, all right, I'm going to trust you with these other three because I don't know those other three, but I know you two and you're stand-up people. And that makes it a completely different environment, a different way things are involved, and it adds depth, in my opinion. I hope you enjoyed that clip from my live show. If you want to see more of that, you can check out the VOD over here. And if you want to support me, make sure you guys go to patreon.com/JonJonTheWise. Also, if you really want to support me, you can go to monsterfightclub.com using the link in the description below, and anything you buy from their official minis, their terrain, anything, you name it, I'll get a piece of the action. I appreciate all the support. We'll see you guys on the next one.